Good afternoon, and welcome to today's USD Virtual Networking event. Today's session is hosted by the University of San Diego's Alumni Association and the Career Development Center. My name is Kara Marsh-Prophet, and I am the Director of Alumni Operations and Alumni Engagement for USD's Office of Alumni Relations. I am also a proud alumna of USD from the class of 2004. Many of you with us today are alumni, so a big shout out to my fellow USD grads and a very special welcome to the current USD students who have joined us this evening. Before we launch into introducing today's session, I want to acknowledge the challenging and stressful few months our community and the world have been facing. Since this is a USD hosted session, I would be remiss without extending prayers from me and all your friends at the university that you and your loved ones are safe and healthy. Today's connection is rooted in the desire to offer meaningful ways for our alumni to connect, or our community to connect. We know how strong our USD network is and hope these types of virtual opportunities will continue to strengthen the connection until we can be back together in person. This session is part of our vibrant Career Trek program, which connects students to employers and alumni. We're launching our first virtual trek tomorrow and are thrilled to be kicking off a new series tonight. Without further ado, I would like to introduce today's facilitator, Robin Darman. Robin, I'd like to invite you to turn on your camera as I share a little bit about you. There you are, great. Robin is a senior director of the University of San Diego's Career Development Center. She joined our team in 2013, actually 7 years ago today, exactly. Today, this is amazing. Happy anniversary, Robin. So thrilled to have you as part of this family. Robin's entire career has been focused in education, and she has worked on 2 continents. Her focus is quite simple: connecting the University of San Diego students and alumni to exciting professional opportunities. Robin will be introducing today's featured speaker and facilitating the interview before launching into breakout rooms. Robin, take it away.
Thank you, Kara. So welcome, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to kick off these networking industry insights with our spotlight speaker, Antonis Robertson. Antonis, if you would like to turn on your camera. Welcome, welcome. So I am going to ask you to just jump right in. Antonis, what should we know about you? Where are you from? And why?
Yeah, so my name is Antonis Robertson. I graduated in the class of 2017. I'm from Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, and came to San Diego, fell in love with the campus. I absolutely loved all 4 years being at San Diego, and if I could go back, I would do it in a heartbeat.
So what was your major? And talk to us about how you transitioned to your role today.
Yeah, so I was a finance major at USD. And my current role right now, I am a senior account associate at Pimco. And so just a quick brief background on Pimco. Pimco is an asset manager. So we are on the buy side of things. We gather assets and help construct portfolios for our clients on an ongoing basis. And we're a pretty large firm. So we have about 1.8 trillion in assets under management, but we tend to run a little bit more on the lean side. And so my role specifically, kind of on a day-to-day basis, is that I help to develop and maintain relationships for our clients at Pimco, and mainly with global wealth management division. So that's financial advisors, RIAs. And so that's what I do kind of on a day-to-day basis, make sure that I maintain the business that they currently have with us and help to try and win new business that comes in.
Okay, so walk me through this. You're a freshman. You're trying to figure out what is your major. How do you make these career steps from undeclared to having the epiphany that finance is your track, and then getting to a place like Pimco, which is an incredible institution?
Yeah, definitely a long journey, and it's kind of funny to put myself back in college me days. You know, there are some people who who go into college and they know exactly what they want to do and they know exactly what career path they're going to take. And that was not me, although I do admire, those students. When I started as a freshman, I did know I wanted to go into business. After joining a business fraternity and talking to some of my brothers, I found out that, I do want to go into the finance realm. And even when I joined finance, I didn't realize how widespread finance career paths are. And I had no idea, where I wanted to go. And so what really led me to Pimco and my job now was kind of twofold. One was just trial and error. So I did a lot of internships. And while I was doing my internships, I, took note of what I liked about the roles, what I didn't, and that kind of shaped what position I wanted to apply for. And then the second thing is I really worked with you and with the Career Development Center, and I did lots of Torero treks and lots of networking events, which eventually led me to Pimco. So I did a Torero trek at Pimco and I felt really gravitated to the firm. And I remember reaching out to you actually and asking, do you have any contacts at Pimco? And you led me to two people who weren't in this exact role, but I was able to really, pick their brain, and they helped me figure out that this role was available. And so when an opening happened, I applied and I was able to get the role. So, kind of twofold of just trial and error, but also using these resources that I have available to me.
Thank you for the plug for the Career Development Center. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Antonis, if I could have you take just a tiny side tour just for a second. Maybe there are people on this this webinar, in this conversation, that they hear Torero trek and they're like, what is that? Would you want to just break that down? What is a Torero trek?
Yeah, so Torero trek is, it's a really exciting, I know you're doing virtual now, but, back then pre-COVID, it was when we were able to visit a couple of different firms. And so I would go on the finance Torero treks. So financial firms that we just get to sit and listen in, hear about what their firm is all about, the different roles, and then also listen in on people who just graduated and are at the firm. And that was really helpful for me because, these are people who are just in my seat. And so, you get advice from them, and then you also learn a little bit more about the firm, how it works, and just getting those insights, which is really helpful.
Thank you. And I have to take advantage. So for those of you who had never heard of what a Torero trek is, we do have those going on for current students. And the idea is that you all get a peek into companies. Actually, like Anthony said, pre-COVID, you would actually go visit the companies in different areas around the United States. We've done Boston treks, Chicago treks, Silicon Valley treks, lots of San Diego, Orange County, Los Angeles treks. Now we're flipping those to virtual, but it's a way of getting inside and kind of peeking into the culture and chatting with other alumni maybe who work there, which leads me, how do you, Anthony's, I hear a lot of students talk about finding a culture fit, finding a culture where you feel good in the firm. And I know we in the Career Development Center really urge students, there's no wrong decision. Figure out what's important to you, what's important to your career path, and what organization fits those values. What are some of the ways that you kind of determined what was the right fit for you? Like, how do you know that?
Yeah, honestly, a lot of it was trial and error, working at different firms. And, at the end of my internship or at the end of, even networking events, feeling out like, what did I not like about that? What did I like about that? And so what I found out for me was that, I wanted to be at a place that was going to really push me and that I was going to learn. I didn't want to be in a stagnant firm where I feel like I've already capped out on my knowledge. And I'm at a place right now where I am never, and I mean never, the smartest in the room. And I absolutely love that because I'm constantly learning and adding to my skill set. And so I wanted to be at a firm that would push me to, my outer bounds of what I can do at work, but also in a place that's really collaborative and helpful and places that want to see you succeed. And I learned that by going through different internships. There were a few internships that I had that I just really did not like. I felt like I wasn't being pushed enough. And so that really helped me to kind of figure out what I want to do and which career path I wanted to take, which firm specifically.
You know, I'm glad you said that, because something I really value, and it's not that it makes me happy when students come back and go, oh, that wasn't a great experience. But sometimes those not so great experiences are actually great learning opportunities to figure out maybe it wasn't a bad company, but it's just not in sync with what's important to you or where you need to be. So it's not necessarily a wrong or bad experience.
Yeah, there's always learning. There's always things that you can learn from whatever experience you take out. And that's really important. So always kind of keep those notes. If you are in school currently and you're taking these, even in networking events, when you're going to these Torero treks, see what you did and did not like about the firm.
And so what are some of these key learning pieces that have been kind of marking you in these past couple of years as a professional? Things you're learning that you wish you'd known before.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot. So at Pimco, we're mainly known for our fixed income expertise, so a lot of bonds. And I think we might have went over just one chapter in one of my investment classes. So I wish I knew a little bit more about that. But a lot of the investment knowledge you learn on the job I've experienced. So one thing, that I would talk about is really trying to build up, again, some of those soft skills and trying to figure out what you're really good at and just trying to apply that with each interview that I had, doing a little bit more research on the funds or the firms that I was applying to, going a little bit more in depth. I think that's always helpful.
And actually you touched on something, so maybe we're going to go a little bit deeper here, but I think about the investment sphere, particularly in Southern California. It's a pretty small world. How do you navigate building a network and perhaps even building networks outside of Pimco, outside of your firm? Talk to me about what that looks like.
Yeah, you'd be surprised actually how many people are in the Southern California area. But I really would say to really rely on these type of networking events. I try to go to as many as possible. And then I also, of course, utilize what Pimco has, any type of networking events that they have. And LinkedIn, I'm sure you guys all know this, but is such a great resource to really reach out. And you can just ask about a different type of career path, learn a little bit more about it. And there's one thing my mentor always tells me at Pimco is to have kind of an investment board or a decision board on you. So make sure to have people that you trust, that when you want to make a new career move, you can ask those people, and make sure some are within the firm, but reach out to people who are outside of the firm, who might even be outside of finance. And so I try to keep, that little hemisphere. And a good way to do that is by doing these networking events. Reach out to someone, these loose ties, because those are typically people who are more willing to help out.
And I'm assuming that Pimco has a certain structure that allows for internal networking mentorship as well.
Yes, lots of mentorship, which is something that I wanted when I was interviewing. That's definitely one of the questions I always asked was what kind of mentorship they have. So there's mentorship when you first start off as an analyst, straight out of college. You get a peer mentor, so someone that's closer to your age, and then you also get a more experienced mentor. We also have a Pimco of Women group. And so I was able to get someone who was more experienced in the account management role, who was able to help navigate what it's like to be a woman in finance. And so those type of mentors are great. They're helpful. And then they have also have contacts that might not be at Pimco or with the firm too, that you could lean on.
And I'm kind of switching gears, but what do typical career trajectories in a company like Pimco look like? Where do people typically start to grow? And I'm curious, if you've started on one path, how difficult is it to maneuver perhaps to a different path within the company?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And so because Pimco runs more lean, we have more of a flatter hierarchy, which is great. It's hard sometimes because you have way more on your plate and you get a lot of people expect more of you, but you get to wear all of these different hats. So transitioning into a different role is pretty easy. It's easier than what would be expected. So right now in my seat, been here for 3 years, and I'm starting to look at the different career paths that lie ahead. Even within my division of global wealth management, I have at least 4 options that I truly like, fit me, and could be in the future. Even if I look at things that don't fit me, that I don't like and I won't be pursuing, there's even more options outside of that. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with networking. And so that's one of the skills that if you're in college right now, really try to build up that skill, because it's a lifetime skill I think you'll need throughout your career.
And not to put you on the spot, but I've noticed often in investment banking, for example, one of the typical steps in your career would be to go on for an MBA or a JD MBA. Do you feel like that's at some point, like getting a graduate degree is going to be an important next step in your career growth, or you've seen examples where that's not necessary, perhaps?
Yeah, so at Pimco, that's definitely encouraged to get your MBA. For me personally, I do think that is going to be a step I'm going to be taking in the next 1 to 2 years, at least getting the GMAT down. But there is examples of people who haven't done it. We also have CFA at Pimco, so it's kind of either or. You get your CFA or you get your MBA, and that tends to be, what leads you to a different career path or higher up in your position.
And before we we're going to now put some pressure on the participants. So I hope that all of you are thinking about questions you'd love to ask, maybe go deeper or go into a different direction than what I pitched off. But is there one last thing you'd like to add, Antonis, before we shift gears a little bit?
Yeah, I think the one thing that I, want to harp on the most is really utilize all of your resources that you have available. I did when I was in college, and I think that really helped me. You have all of these resources on your fingertips, so it would be really silly of you to not use those. And you were a huge help, Robin, so thank you. And, just continue to use those resources. Feel free to reach out to me too if you have any additional questions, or you want to meet up, learn a little bit more about my role or how I got there at Pimco. I'm happy to help out. Love to be a helpful torero.
And if that went too quickly.
Did indeed. Shout out to Manuel, who is in Spain right now.
Oh my goodness. I should have asked, where are people zooming in from? Manuel, did you win the farthest away?
He's in Spain.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Are you the farthest from San Diego?
I suppose. I don't know.
I love it. I love it. Well, I know there were other questions, and I'd love to use these last 15 minutes to respond to those. And honestly, just to be perfectly frank with you, I am not the expert in finance. So when I throw out the questions, I hope that all of you who will jump in with those responses. Let's just start in the chat, and please keep adding as well. Let's see. I'm going down. Okay, so here's one to begin with. How do you make connections with iBanking and venture capitalists? I think that's a really good question. I think particularly on the West Coast, where entrepreneurship, innovation, investments are smaller. Any ideas on how you make those connections? Who's the alumnus that's going to grab that, or alumni?
I would say just reaching out to people is a really big help. Like I was saying, our breakout group, you'd be kind of surprised at how willing people are to talk with you. I've done that with a few other wealth managers. So really, if you find somebody on LinkedIn, connect with them, just send them a message or two, and send them out to 10 different people. I'm sure one of them will at least be interested in talking to you, maybe on the phone or just email for at least 10 or 15 minutes. And then from there, you can ask them if they know anybody else you might be able to talk to, and then you can maybe get a recommendation from them, and at least for meeting more people.
Thanks, Jake. And I would be remiss if I didn't use this as the perfect moment to plug Team. If you are all not on Team, I'm going to come looking for you and make sure you get on Team. We'll send you the link after this, but it's an incredible site for the Torero community. So much like LinkedIn, it has the look and feel of LinkedIn, quite frankly, except that it's only for the Torero community. So the nice thing about it, if you reach out to a fellow alumnus or a student and you have questions, you're not bugging them. They put themselves on it. They want to interact. They want to ask questions. They want to connect. So we'll send you the link, but we have over 3,500 alumni and students on it currently. It's an incredible networking / mentorship opportunity. I would love to encourage all of you to be on that. Other questions? I am looking. Question from Camden. How has the current COVID environment impacted your ability to build meaningful connections with clients and maintain your company culture? That's a great question. Who wants to take that? That's a great question. Should I pick on someone?
I can go.
Awesome.
So when COVID first started and it first hit, I felt like it was the biggest challenge that was going to be really hard to overcome for me to try to meet new clients, because now we're in this virtual world. And in the beginning, there weren't a lot of people doing breakouts. It was a lot of like talking at the screen, kind of listening, and then no one really getting to connect. That has gotten a lot better. So it was a challenge at first, but actually we pivoted. So you start reaching out and looking at what's most important to your current clients. And I actually have built much deeper relationships with even those. Maybe in the past, we had talked about down the line some type of planning that they wanted to do, but it was just on the back burner. They're just too busy. And this kind of made everyone take a second and reset and think, like, look at their priorities again. And a lot of people found themselves more vulnerable than they thought they'd be. And I've had much deeper conversations with current clients. And then because I've been able to help them and kind of go a little bit outside of my own space, like I had to become a PPP loan expert overnight. And I was like, what even is this? So I had to do a lot of research in that field. And I started just kind of helping, not charging for advice for things like that. We know everyone is in it together. And it was kind of like a pay it forward moment. People started referring me to others because I was just helpful, and I just thought it's probably just the right thing to do at the time. And it ended up creating really good relationships that are probably going to last a very long time.
Gina, I really appreciate you saying that. I mean, my gut tells me that you had probably laid a pretty strong foundation of good relationships even prior to this. What were some of the things that you think were beneficial pre-COVID that have benefited you now?
Like laying the groundwork for the we're in right now.
Did you attend networking events? Are you a member of a business association?
Yeah, so I was really big with the Chamber of Commerce in San Diego, and a few other networking groups. And I think what I learned most is don't go to lots of groups, pick one or two. Well, maybe guest a lot of them, like do one and see what kind of vibe you like and what kind of clientele and people are in it. But once you find one that you like and the people that you're starting to vibe with, stick with that one and stay consistent, and like don't waver from that, because when you just go to one, you go to another, you don't really get to know anybody. Everyone's pushing business cards, trying to get business. When you join one that you meet more frequently, like once a month, which is that's like a good sweet spot. And more than that, it's too hard to get in the schedule. You can really start to connect.
I appreciate you saying that. San Diego is a very networking city.
And it takes about a year, I would say. If you do join one group, don't think, oh, I didn't get any business out of it in 6 months, I'm going to quit. It was expensive. After a year, people start to come to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I see that we have Christina Bergstad, our USD's Minneapolis St. Paul Torero Club president. And I'm so calling you out, Christina, because I want to pick on you. Give us insights from the Midwest. What are you seeing in terms of business, the impact of business around you?
Yeah, I mean, it's impacted us here in Minnesota and the Midwest as it has the rest of the country and world. And we have had a lot of impact to small businesses here in what we call our uptown and our downtown because of protests and rioting. So it's been a very challenging environment from a lot of different aspects. But I think, you know, it's been really amazing to see how the community has come together, and especially the business communities, and helping everyone out. You know, people have really rallied around the businesses that were impacted from the riots and, you know, the physical damage that was done to the business. And, you know, that's just one piece of it. You know, a lot of businesses are impacted in many ways. So, yeah, it's been a tough environment, but, you know, everyone's working together. And as I said in the chat, I've been getting to know a lot of the COVID stimulus packages too, including the PPP, like Gina had as well. So it's been a very busy few months here.
Thank you. It's great to have you here.
Thanks.
I had a question concerning, and I'd love for some of our alumni to jump in and offer some advice. A current student asked, how do you get an internship in trading? What are different types of trading internships that could be good experiences? Would anybody like to take that one?
I could offer some insight into that question. I'm currently working on wealth management under Union Bank of Switzerland. So right now as an internship, once I complete my master's, I will be working as a trader / financial analyst.
Oh, wow.
So our internships in trading, usually for trading, you need your license 6 and the license 7 and the license 66 in order for you to actually do trading. So internships, most of the times you will just be doing busy work, but you will be face to face with the trader, and the trader will be helping you and teaching you everything until you get your license, and then that's when you can start trading. And for internships, I would recommend wealth management internships, maybe some hedge fund internships. Yeah, I think those are the ones that could help out the most for people looking into trading.
And do you mind me asking how you got your internship?
Of course. So I got I graduated from USD with my undergraduate degree on 2020, so this year. So I was in a fraternity at USD. So the way that I got the internship was through one of my fraternity brothers. He was quitting the job, and he told me that I would be a good fit. So I applied. That's how I got it.
I love it.
So,
using the network.
Yes, networking and everything.
That's awesome. Go Toreros. That's great. Well, we are down to 5 minutes, and I would love to simply allow, kind of open it up for a couple of popcorn comments. Advice. What would you advise your younger self or a student who's in the room right now who's navigating a career in finance?
I wish I would have joined a sorority or more groups in whatever field I was interested in. I was so busy studying and working and thinking that was the most important thing. And I thought, I'll meet people when I meet people, and that I wish I had focused more on nurturing relationships then rather than having to go back.
Thank you, Gina.
We talked a lot in our small group breakout about the power of and importance of relationships. And while I don't work in finance, but I know that we still have Jake Cohen and Nick Britt here who were in that small group. So I don't know if either of you guys want to chime in on that, because it was some good conversation that we had.
Yeah, we just basically showed the importance of establishing relationships, whether it's through these virtual networking events or in an actual networking event. Don't expect something immediately. Actually go in for the personal relationship, get that person's phone number and keep in contact with them, because sooner or later you build that relationship, and who knows what could come out of it. So that was one of the most important things we came out of that little breakout session.
Thanks, Jake. Anyone else? Things you wish you had known.
I guess I would just add an encouragement to explore the entire space of the financial sector. It is massive. And I think so many of the people, alumni that I know out of USD, they get into doing just wealth management, they're financial advisors and stuff. And that's such a tiny slice. So trading and wealth management are such a small piece of financial services. So I've worked at the intersection of technology and financial services for 20 years, and just in the fintech space. And there's just such a diversity of stuff, both working in the domestic markets or where I work, which is the international markets, predominantly in Africa, but also other markets. And so there's the retail side where you're trying to push out access to financial services. There's the commercial side, there's the SME side, there's the microfinance side, there's also the big asset stuff that you guys have been doing, there's technology finance, there's payment finance, there's payment processing, there's blockchain stuff. I mean, just, it's out there. And think about why you want to be in finance. Like, what's your driver? What are you trying to achieve when you're in, because like housing is another whole entire sector, or real estate or commercial real estate, just each of those is an entire like big area. And so kind of think about what it is why you feel attracted to finance, and how do you want to spend your 8 hours a day? And then think about your skill sets. Are you more interested as a people person, or you'd rather spend time with a spreadsheet or some other data analytics, or you want to do, think about what you enjoy, what you're good at, and why you want to be in the space. Because if you have that internal, like God-given directed talents, and you know about that, then you'll just be successful because you're working from your core space. And it'll take you to a lot of different opportunities you wouldn't have thought about before, because you're exploring things based on your skills, based on your passions. Like even just things like people are into climate finance. Who knew that was even just a space, right? That's a whole vertical in itself, climate finance, right? So that's like, my passion is, climate, and my passion is finance. Well, boom, bada bing, they meet together. So I work at the intersection of, financial services, trying to extend outreach to financial services to poor people living in rural areas, predominantly across Africa. And particularly I'm in the ag space right now. So it's like ag, fin, and technology all together and stuff. So don't think, Wall Street and financial advisor are the only two sort of pathways to this. There's so much out there. Yeah.
Laura, I really appreciate that. That's awesome. I hope this leaves all of us inspired to do more sleuthing. I feel like we need a part 2 of this one. I feel like we could go even deeper. Kara, we're gonna have to set up another investment and finance get together.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, I do want to say, as we're wrapping up, a huge thanks to Antonis. Just so proud of you. She's cranking her career, sharp as a whip, love her to pieces. So thank you. I know she was very busy today, and she showed up tonight to tell her story. And I deeply appreciate Antonis and her Torero spirit. And on that note, I'll turn it over to Kara.
Thank you. I do have a closing slide to share with you all, but I also want to make an introduction. My boss, Charles Bass, who is the Senior Director of Alumni Relations, joined us tonight, which is awesome. It's always a treat to have him with us. So Charles, do you want to say anything to the group?
Well, no, I just want to thank everybody for being a part of this. It's a weird time for all of us with these Zoom interactions, but our alumni relations team and Kara has been leading an amazing effort. We have had I think we're at about 150 virtual interactions since March, none of which were planned before March. So it's been a really busy last few months. And but the one thing I said in our breakout group is talking about the power of the USD network. It is so strong, and it's you know, as much as we talk about a lot of things, it is who you know, and in your connection to USD student or as an alum, you can help everybody through, whether it's through team or through you know, just those interactions. Our alums are very willing to meet with our students or with other alumni, whether it's through LinkedIn or through Team. And I just encourage you to reach out to the Alumni Association. We're happy to help make connections when we can. And I encourage you all to just keep up the good work and keep making USD proud, and go Toreros.